Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of April 5th through the 11th. And during that time, we do have a waning gibbous moon, which is a good time for self-reflection and rebirth. We're coming off that energy from the full moon. Good time to buckle down, get back to work, and to get rid of bad habits and negative thinking. We then have the last quarter moon that comes in on April 10th. And that is also kind of a continuance of that, but we're starting to see that the things that we've been working on are starting to wrap up, starting to finish up, and we're starting to evaluate things a little bit more, like what's working, what's not. But it's time for us to kind of let those things come to fruition. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Aquarius. So as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is that you are good enough. All right, let's see what the Aquarius collective has going on for the week. As I remember your amazing reading from last week, by the way. Some readings stick with me. I have the worst memory for readings. It makes me a great reader because I just can't remember. I'll read someone's cards and honestly 5 minutes later I have no idea what we just talked about. It just gets erased. But sometimes a reading really stands out to me, and I do remember your crazy awesome reading of last week. So I'm really curious to see what the Aquarius story is this week. Anyway, as I'm shuffling, my fun weekly reminder real quick is that you watch for synchronicities. So this would be repeating number patterns. This could be an animal that you encounter. It might be a conversation that you overhear, but just try to be a little bit more aware this week of the synchronistic things happening around you and just take note of them. So, all right, let's get into this reading. Aquarius, April 5th through the 11th. You are good enough. And your present energy right now is the star card. So here you are being literally guided by the stars. So looks like you're on course. You're heading in a good direction. You're good enough. It's great. So this is a card of hope and prosperity. This is being very clear about the direction that you're going in. So again, I wouldn't be surprised because of your reading from last week. Your current situation right now is the Knight of Swords. So here comes things in quickly. This could be messages coming in rapidly. This could be thoughts coming in rapidly, but something's coming in very, very quickly. Many times this facilitates some sort of change. It's just that you have an idea, or that some information comes into you, like you get an email that just changes, like, oh, okay, I need to change course quickly. So a lot of times this is indicative of that, of just some sort of information that's about to change things, right? It doesn't have to change things in a major way. It can just be minor, but it's something where you have to definitely take it into account and adjust. At the root of your situation is the Nine of Wands. So you're taking a little bit of time to kind of look back and evaluate some things. This is what we're all doing. Again, this is the moon energy right now, is that we are kind of starting to work towards that reflection, especially during that last quarter, that you might have it some time during that day where you're like, okay, where have I been? Let's kind of evaluate things and then we're going to start to think about new things that you might want to start in the new cycle. But you're already kind of in that evaluation mode, and probably because things are coming to fruition, because the star card says you're right where you should be, right on course, right? Okay, in your recent past here, Six of Pentacles. So, many times I ask if you're in, this is a card of giving and receiving, and it depends. We all fluctuate in those positions. Sometimes we're in a place of giving. Sometimes we're in a place of receiving, and this could be monetary, of course, as shown in the card, but it's also about just giving of yourself and also receiving when it's time. So that's kind of the energy that you bring in, as kind of an exchange here of energy between you and either someone or something else, something that you're working on right now. So that is a good exchange going back and forth. On your mind this week is the Lover's card, which I think was in your reading last week. So there's maybe some sort of either new romance or romance renewal that's on your mind this week. Maybe it's kind of a lingering effect from last week. So something's on your mind when it comes to, relationship and coming together. Again, if you're feeling on course, we've got this giving and receiving, and this could be some new information that just comes in. And maybe it makes you evaluate things just a little bit, right? Evaluate things from your past. So interesting. Could be a very introspective week for you. What is just ahead of you this week is, oh, well, there's that idea, some new idea. Maybe it comes in from this new information here from the Knight of Swords, but some new idea that is coming into you, kind of an aha moment, some kind of breakthrough where you're like, oh, and is it something that you're evaluating from your past and applying to maybe a new relationship, or a new, like I said, a new, what's the word? A renewal of a relationship. And maybe you have some ideas on that front or ways that you're doing that, but that's something you're having some sort of new idea ahead of you this week. In your advice position here is the death card, which the advice is to let something go. Is this something from your past? Is this some past relationship that you're going to be letting go so that you can maybe make room for a new relationship? That could be. But the advice here is definitely let it go. Let it die. There's a part that you need to let go so that you can open up space for something else. Typically, this doesn't mean actual death. It's just death of a part of you that needs to go. It's done. It's over with. Did you learn your lesson? Maybe you're doing that evaluation there so that you can let go. And you're like, yeah, here's what happened, and here was my part in it. And moving forward, I would da 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 make a list, right? So go ahead and let it go, whatever that is for you. What is beyond your control this week is the Three of Pentacles, which is about just working together creatively. This could be something at work. This could be something where you're working with friends on something that's a creative project, but it's beyond your control, and just have a little fun doing that, whatever that might be for you. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Of course, it's a tower. We're all trying to avoid towers, but I don't think it's ever a secret desire. But do remember that disruptions that do happen can be very life changing. So we don't always know when we're in it, but they can be very, very life changing. But are you trying to avoid some sort of disruption? Probably. We all are, right? Nobody wants a big disruption in their life. So think about why, and think about what you're doing to avoid that disruption, because sometimes we manifest a disruption by trying to avoid it. So maybe it's something you need to not be thinking about so much. You are good enough, and don't bring this to you because you're focusing so hard on it. What is in your outcome position is the Seven of Pentacles, which really is about just waiting for your harvest to come in. You've planted some seeds where they material, maybe. I mean, this is a card of materiality with the pentacles there. Money, and it's almost like you've worked on a project and you're waiting for the paycheck to come in, waiting for some bonus or something to come in. So, are you waiting there? Also, it can also, if it's not about materiality, it's about seeds that you've planted when it comes to relationships, to romantic relationships, that sort of thing. And you're kind of waiting on those things to come to fruition. And maybe you're just kind of, again, trying to avoid some sort of tower there, some sort of, catastrophic, whatever. Just don't, if you're thinking, and here's my example for this. Let's say that you are newly in a new relationship and you start thinking about the past, right? And maybe even a message, maybe just on social media, some message comes in and it's something about your ex, and all of a sudden your wheels start spinning and you're like, oh, and here's what happened, and here, and all of a sudden we were broken up, and da da da. And you bring that on, you can bring that on yourself. Let it go. That's what this death card is. Let it go. Just let it go. um it could be that if you're in an established relationship, that all, you're thinking back on some argument that you had, and da da da, and here comes the argument again, because we manifest, even if it's negative, we start to manifest those things. So let negative thoughts go. Just let it go. What is hidden from you this week? Two of Wands, which is really just thinking about the future. You're kind of in the moment this week, not really thinking about the future, just trying to get through the present. But just remember, you are good enough. Don't let this negative self-talk or negative thoughts that are coming in really affect things, especially things that are in the present that are going well for you. Don't ruin it with your thoughts. All right, let's see what the Soul Oracle deck says. Let's wrap up here for Aquarius. Final message here for Aquarius, and the card that you get is to take a step back. Yeah, take a step back. Again, you're doing this evaluation, but if you think too hard, Sometimes we can manifest the negative just by thinking about it. So let it go. Let it go. All right, let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care this week, Aquarius. Self-care for you, Aquarius, for this week. Self-care for Aquarius. Okay, and the card that you get is the card called Invitation. The words you speak are an invitation to life, a request to bring energy into form. Choose your words carefully. Also, choose your thoughts carefully. That's exactly what I'm saying. So, the words you speak are an invitation to life, a request to bring energy into form. So when you do that, we can do that negatively or positively. You just have to really choose to do it in a positive way, because that way you're not bringing the negative thing in just as a byproduct, just because that's where your mind goes. So let it go. Find a way to meditate, find a way to heal that so that you can let it go. Aquarius, thank you so much for being here. I do hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use in your life this week. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below. Or if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe will help you find me in the future. And I think that's a pretty cool way to come back, check, and we'll see where your story is going to go. So thanks so much, Aquarius. Good luck with this, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.